Good morning, everybody. Now, do we just need... Okay. Certainly. Is everyone good to go? Okay, well, good morning. I'm Nicole Flint, Federal Member for Boothby, and I am so delighted to have Prime Minister Scott Morrison here this morning, the Minister for Finance, Simon Birmingham, and of course, the Liberal candidate for Boothby, Dr. Rachel Swift. We have just visited MicroX, which is one of our incredible manufacturing success stories here in South Australia. We've seen a lot of their products, which I'm sure the Prime Minister and Rachel will talk about, but what I'm really proud of is the $8 million we have delivered to MicroX as part of the Stroke Alliance, which is going to develop a new Halo X-ray machine that will revolutionise the way that we diagnose and are then able to treat strokes. This will have a worldwide impact. 15 million people a year suffer a stroke, so the economic and health and personal outcomes that we will be able to deliver through this incredible technology will change lives worldwide, all here from South Australia. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Rachel Swift now, the Liberal candidate for Boothby, to say a few words. Rachel.
Thanks, Nicole. It's a real pleasure to be here this morning. As Nicole just said, we've just done a tour of MicroX, and that technology is incredible. The opportunities it will offer us to be able to take healthcare to rural and remote communities in Australia, but also internationally through our humanitarian program is incredible. But what was so energising when we were in there today was talking to so many of the people on the manufacturing side who had come from previous roles in places like Holden and have been able to reapply their skills to this great medical technology innovation. It's really my pleasure today to welcome the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison. This is the first non-sitting day that the South Australian borders have been open, and he's keen to be here and see the great work that we've been doing in South Australia, particularly around manufacturing, innovation and technology. So I'll hand it over to the Prime Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Rachel, and thank you, Nicole, and to Minister Birmingham, to Simon, to Burmo, as we know him. It's great to be here with you here in South Australia. I'm really excited to be here in South Australia. South Australia is open. Australians are wanting to holiday in Australia. That's going to be a great opportunity for South Australia as it's opening up. The national plan is being realised here in South Australia, living with the virus so we can live together with the virus. We're opening safely here in South Australia so we can remain safely open. And today, I'm going to give a big PM's challenge to South Australia. I have no doubt that the most optimistic Premier there is in Australia, Stephen Marshall, would be joining me. Today, the figures I have this morning is 79.5% of South Australians are double vaccinated. Now, you've been getting along at about 0.5% today. So South Australians, the call is out. Go out there. If you haven't had your second dose of your vaccination today, go out and get it today so we can all wake up tomorrow and hear the news that South Australia is 80% double vaccinated. That's a significant milestone in the national plan. And those milestones mean that governments are able to step back so Australians can step forward, that businesses can step forward, that Australians can increasingly live together with this virus. And I want to congratulate South Australians and Premier Marshall on the great work that is being done, keeping South Australians safe so we can now open safely and remain safely open. Now, Australia has done amazingly well during the course of this pandemic. We have one of the lowest fatality rates in the world. We have one of the strongest economies coming through this pandemic of any advanced economy in the world. 350,000 jobs springing back in spring in our economy over the last 5 weeks. The Australian economy is springing back, and we knew that would be the case because of the underlying strength of this economy. And of course, we have now one of the highest vaccination rates in the world. And I want to encourage everybody to go out there and get their boosters. Go and get those boosters. I had my booster last week with my good mate now, Jane Malashak. And particularly for those who are elderly in our population, you were the first to get the jabs. And now it's important that you're the first to go and get those booster shots. You're due for them. If you've been through 6 months since your second dose, you can go and get that booster shot now, and I want to encourage you to do it, because the pandemic's not over globally. That create the jobs. And I'm very excited to be here today at MicroX and in this amazing facility. This facility, as I look up there at Flinders University and XeroX and the other companies that are here in what used to be Holden, this very place tells the story of the economic transformation of South Australia and where our manufacturing industries are going in the future. 1 in 8 jobs in manufacturing were lost under Labor. We have got manufacturing employment in Australia back to more than 1 million Australians working in manufacturing. They've gone from making Holdens to now making X-ray machines and high-tech brain scanners that can be moved to the most remote parts of the earth. That's the technology, but it's also the skills. The skills that have been built up here to make things in South Australia are being reapplied to new manufacturing tasks and ensuring that new businesses are forming. We invested $8 million as a federal government in XeroX to develop this technology. That alone created 20 jobs, but it will create far more in the collaboration that has occurred between the entrepreneurs of MicroX, the scientists and the graduates coming out of Flinders University, and the partnership that is here with both state and federal government to make this happen. This is how we secure our economic recovery. Lower taxes, training people. There are 217,000 Australians right now in trade training in this country. That is the highest it has ever been on record, and those records go back to